UvaldeRadio.net. It is Friday Night Live. We're at Broadway 830, 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. My name is Robert Miguel. I'm your host for the next few minutes, and we are just excited because it is Cinco de Mayo in Uvalde, Texas.
Cinco de Mayo.
How you ever do that stuff again?
All the gritos and everything.
I'm just the worst Hispanic ever, man. You know what I mean? I was born and raised here in Uvalde, so I should be legit, but we moved to North Texas, then we moved to Ohio, and I just lost all the flavor. But I'm doing my best. So I got my sombrero, I got my margarita.
Oh, we're having fun.
And I imported in Richie Bustillo from San Antonio, man. So now it's legit, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Richie, welcome to Uvalde.
Thank you, Robert.
Is this your first time here ever?
It is my first time here. You know, I've kind of driven by a few times. You know, it's one of those things. So,
we're definitely a drive-by town. You gotta just drive on through and peace out.
Yeah, but it's cool to be able to see it, you know, and be able to stay for a little bit. And, you know, the people have been pretty cool so far. So
Yeah. So you're here at Broadway 830. You
Yes.
stepped inside the restaurant. What did you think about that, first of all?
It was super cool. I love the atmosphere. It was, like, super cool. And, you know, the people have been great so far. And they've been very helpful. And but yeah, and the food smells good and looks great. So
we have got delicious artisan pizza out here. They got great pasta. They've got really ice cold beer. They've got just a lot of. They got a beer flight you got to check out if that's kind of your thing.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Of course, it's Cinco de Mayo, so there are $4 margaritas tonight, and they've got
that's a deal.
Chupacabra pizza, which is kind of like a little Mexican flair on a pizza. So there's some dining experiences, even though it's Italian at the base.
Oh yeah,
Put a little Spanish flair on this thing. So,
that's good.
So it's gonna be a good time. So come on out here, enjoy some delicious food, some cold drinks, and live music on the patio. Again, Richie Bustillo making his Uvalde debut, your premiere, right? So
yes, it is.
they're really excited, man. And you know, like I've said on the air prior to this show, you're an up and coming guy, man. But you've come a long way in a short amount of time. Would you say that?
I would say so. It's been a very crazy.
Have you been hustling really hard for years in the background?
Well, no, it has been a very push. I've been trying to push forward within this past year because my journey with this getting more local, because I did start playing out of town mainly. I was playing mainly in Granger, Texas, and just basically on the outskirts of Austin, if you want to just kind of consider that, right? And so like I did have a lot of people that were requesting me to keep coming back and stuff, so it was good. I did kind of grow my fan base out of there, but last year I just decided, hey, it might be a good thing to just be more local, just try to be more involved.
Yeah.
Just be more involved. And so the cool thing is now that I get a lot of people that actually go to my shows and, hey, I went to go see you over here and I came to see you over here. So it has been a very consistent push for about a good year now. And
well, it's great to be able to have the ability to play outside, but you know what? I mean, with gas prices the way they are, hey, you know what? Thank you, Biden, because gas prices went down about 10 cents over the last couple of days. So that had to help a little bit, right?
Better than nothing.
For sure. But I say thank you because I blame him for everything. Every now and again, I'll give him credit too. So hey, I'm gonna try to be fair that way.
Yeah, you have to be fair.
But yeah, so having a local fan base, plus you know you get all your cheerleaders in your camp, in your zip code, and around. I know that you're tied with the guys in Kinfo.
Yes.
We got to talk about you jumping up with them at the T3R post party. That had to be a lot of fun for you. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go ahead and let's get into your backstory. How old are you exactly? I think
I am 27.
27 now. Okay.
I'm gonna be 28 on Halloween.
You got one of those kind of faces. You're very young looking.
Well, thank you.
So you don't. It's kind of. You could have told me you're like 19, 20. Or you could just say I'm 32.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, so you're kind of hard to place.
Yes.
And you've also got a very youthful energy about you too.
Thank you. I try to.
Very good, very good.
That's what keeps me going.
So how long have you been playing the guitar and making music?
I've been playing the guitar since I was 13 years old. I started singing when I was 9, and just kind of being involved in a bunch of, I guess, more stuff that was located in the south side of San Antonio. I would do talent shows and parades and all that cool stuff. And my family was the one that really kind of pushed me. It was mainly my grandpa and my uncle were the ones that kind of encouraged me to start singing when I was 9. So I actually started singing.
So you have the stage family going, hey, go Mijo, you can do it.
You can do it.
Right,
it was always the support of my family, and my family's here. Some of my family's here today, and I have more that's coming later. But they're always trying to be there for me, and I really can't do it without them, because they were the ones from the beginning to be able to push me and encourage me to do what I was good at. I was pretty good at the time, and every day we learn and we get better. But for me being so young, they had so much faith and courage in me just to be able to do it, and they really pushed me to do it. So about 9, I was singing, but I've been playing the guitar since I was 13 with a band that I had made, and we were playing nothing but punk rock and
because that's easy, 3 chords, man. Yeah, it's easy.
Which
I always Green Day songs,
That's pretty much what I would play all the time, and it was always that 90s grunge and punk rock and stuff, but that's why I try to explain to people. It wasn't too. People ask, is it a weird transition to go from punk rock to country? But it's really still 4 chords, 3-4 chords.
Right.
The majority of the time. Sometimes you get a little technical on country music, which makes it fun. But there's just it was such an easy transition to just move over.
But wouldn't you say though the hard part of country music would be the vocals? I mean, because with rock music and distortion, I mean the playing and even the voice can get buried underneath the distortion and all the other stuff. Yes. But when it's you and a guitar or a couple of guys playing clean notes, clean music, then your voice really kind of has to pop through.
The musicality has to be more present, whether it is the cleaner picking, the cleaner guitar playing, and the more controlled vocals. All of that goes hand in hand with country music, which makes it so hard. A lot of people are like, "Oh, country music's easy," and it was an easy transition. But now I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to start practicing a lot more.
Interesting.
It was one of those things.
So this band that you started, how long did that last? And then what was, I guess, what was the what made you move on to country? What exactly was that moment?
Sure. The band that I started in, it was actually a few friends of mine from San Antonio, and 2 of them, shout out to my buddy Rigo Navaida and from the Navaida family, and my buddy Luke Salas, and some other friends of mine. They're starting to do more stuff in the Tejano scene. Mm-hmm. But I started a band with them, and when we were about 13, 14 years old, and we played for a couple years, and straight out of middle school, going into high school, and we played at the same old little burger joint on Friday night, but we started to expand, and people were doing a lot more. We were asking for us a lot more local events, and actually started playing bars and stuff. And for us to be that demanded at the time was pretty cool. But we all kind of had the same passion. We all had our roots, which started for me especially with country music, but it all started to flow, and we all started to find our own path. So for me, with the roots, it was mainly country music because my uncle and my grandpa were the ones that really encouraged me to start singing. My uncle was the one that showed me nothing but country music when I was growing up. So whenever I was hanging out with him, that's all we listened to. So I did grow up with Alan Jackson and George Strait and listening to all that stuff.
I think that story is more popular than if you're in Texas, if you're getting raised in Texas. Like, I consider myself a rocker. I listened to rock as a kid, as a teen and whatnot. But what I didn't realize was that my parents were listening to country nonstop. So I was growing up with country, whether I kind of chose to admit it or not, it was always there. So, I mean, and I'm older than you, so, it was like 80s and 90s. I mean, I was hearing all the Johnny Cash and Conway Twitty, the Kenny Rogers, Eddie Rabbitt, and then into the 90s with the Alan Jackson and the Tracy's Brooks and Dunn, all that stuff, for sure. But I didn't really, if you would ask me that, I would just want to know I like rock and roll. But, it wasn't until a little bit later that I realized, oh, dude, I love all this country music. It's so awesome. So it's kind of cool. And I love your story because your name is Richie, and you almost got this Richie Valens kind of backstory a little bit here.
It is. A lot of people do say that. I always joke around and say, but
not my Richie! No, Bob!
No, Bob. Why, Bob?
Why, Bob? We'll get it, I just have to do it.
And people always say that. And I was like, but I always tell them it's Richie without a T.
Right,
I spell my name without a T.
That's right.
I was like, so no, I don't mind it because that was one of my favorite movies growing up.
Is that
his
a flying
story,
guitar right
is
there?
Is that a flying guitar? I'm surprised I didn't get the tattoo yet.
That's awesome. Well, again, we got Richie Bustillo here. We got to talk about your name.
Yes, of course.
So sometimes I hear Richard, sometimes I hear Richie, sometimes I hear Richie B, Bustillo. So as far as the branding goes, it's kind of all over the place. So.
It is. And that was the thing. People, I won't lie, I attached the Richie B kind of nickname to myself just because a lot of people, especially not from San Antonio,
Yeah.
some people don't really understand the dialect or really know. They really don't know how to say my last name, Bustillo, right?
Something like Bustillo.
Bustillo, and I give them a few chances, but then they're like, well, how do you pronounce it? And that I use that opportunity to kind of show them, and after a few times, people start to get the hang of it. But a lot of times, people will either just spell my name wrong, so I just attached the nickname Richie B. But that's why the first single that I dropped, it was Richie B. But I was like, I always wanted to just kind of keep my name intact, just so I keep the heritage of my name.
Yeah.
I don't want to drop that.
So that's what you prefer, is Richie Bustillo.
Correct.
Very
Yes.
good. Well,
yes.
you just mentioned your first song. I've got it. That's Booze, right? The first one you put out there.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and give me the backstory on that one, and we'll play it here on the radio.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Booze. It was right after a bad breakup. I'm not gonna lie. I do tell the people the story because it's the truth. And I hit rock bottom at that time, and I was day drinking in Austin, and it was just a bad day for me. And so that's why that first line, I was doing 109 straight down I-35. I was hauling it home.
Wow.
And I didn't have a care in the world, and thank God I didn't hurt anybody that day. But it was one of those things. I'm like, man, I'm down. Like, there's nothing I can do to kind of fix this. And I just thought, why can't I just turn this into a song and use it as an outlet? Like, let me just do it. So I wrote that song that evening, and it was more of just kind of like a poem, just kind of keeping the words together. And probably about a year later is when I actually put the song together for the first time. And I was like, man, I should have just done this a long time ago and keep doing this. And it was one of those things. I was just down, and I needed something. This was the upcoming of that, and it's really kind of helped me get out of that funk.
I was gonna say, did it end up being therapeutic and helpful? Yeah.
Very, yeah. And I think I just came back stronger now, and I haven't been happier. And after that, it was just kind of the turning point of that. Is a lot of people don't understand. You do kind of have to hit your rock bottom sometimes to realize what you really got in your life, and you got to keep that stuff.
Don't worry, you're still young. There's still a lot further to go down.
Oh yeah.
But maybe this will help somebody else out there. So y'all check it out. This is
absolutely.
Richie Bustillo. It's called Booze, and we're doing Friday Night Live at Broadway 830. This is UvaldeRadio.net.
Doing 109 straight down line 35, 85 miles to San Antonio, but I know you're already gone. Lilac clouds start to tumble on me. Wonder if I'll ever see my baby again. Something just ain't right. It just ain't right. I wonder where you'd be tonight. Did you ever take that flight back to Louisiana? Wish I could be there right next to you. No doubt in my mind now, miss those big blue eyes. The ones that stare through my soul with so much love. Yeah, it just breaks my heart to see they're gone. Got nothing left to lose. It's just me, myself, and booze. As the days pass on by, I can never deny my love for you will never run dry. Like a bottle at forever holds the whiskey to burn
be there right next to you. There's no doubt in my mind I miss those big blue eyes, the ones that stared through my soul with so much love. You know it breaks my heart to see they're gone. Got nothing left to lose. It's just me, myself, and these. I've got nothing left to lose. It's just me, myself, and
UvaldeRadio.net, Friday Night Live at Broadway, 830 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. Richie Bustillo with Booze. Sorry, we can't turn the fan on yet. It gets really loud, okay? But we're going to get it on in a minute. We're out here in the patio. It's a warm day.
It is a warm day.
It's already pretty warm, and we need that. We have the, and I'm not cursing on the radio, but we got the big-ass fan over there. It's literally the brand name, big-ass fan.
That's the brand.
Yeah.
That's the brand.
And
He ain't lying.
And it needs to be turned on because it's getting a little warm out here, but it gets really loud on the microphone. So we're out here doing a lot of broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So Richie Bustillo, Booze, that's the first single you put out, basically.
That is.
Go ahead and just give me, before we get it, because you got your guitar strapped on, ready to do a little live thing.
Sure.
What's this been like releasing music to radio? When did you make that jump from deciding to sing and write and then record and put it to radio?
Yeah, it was a very, very different thing because, you know, I've always done live shows and it's just been promotion in that way. Mm-hmm. And doing this kind of promotion was very different. And I had won a competition back in 2019, and that's why I got the songs recorded, you know, Booze being one of them, and this next song was another one, too.
Oh, cool.
But when I recorded it, you know, we had recorded it, and I was just going to put it on Spotify, and that's when, you know, I met Cynthia, and Cynthia was like, hey, we should probably, you know, you got a pretty good potential. Let's try throwing it out there. I'm like, well,
shout out to Cynthia!
Shout out to Cynthia.
It was going to come up eventually.
Yeah, it was going to come up. But, yeah, no, she was the one, hey, you got potential. Let me help you try to do it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. Never done this in my life. And, you know, and doing the radio stuff, I've never done it. So, you know, with her help, she's helped me out a lot. And you know, it's been very cool. In a weird way, but it's just because it's so different. It was very new to me, but I love doing this stuff and, you know, getting to meet program directors and, you know, hearing people's actual opinion. A lot of people are liking the stuff, and you know, it makes me happy. It feels like I'm doing my job right.
Well, once you get into the radio thing and the promotional aspect of it all, it does open it up to a lot of networking and opportunities as well too, right? I mean, you kind of get a really good snapshot of the business that you're really shooting for.
That's
and
very true.
Gives you some goals as well as, you know, just
sure.
I guess you're just conscious of what you're in, actually.
Yes.
Instead of just kind of blindly just kind of going, right?
Exactly. I've learned so much in this past year that I've learned more in the last 5.
Right.
So
for sure.
Just coming into this blindly and learning and getting in there. Thank you. Getting in there, it's just. It's been great experience, just
Very
overall.
Cool. Well, we're going to talk about some of those successes here in a moment. Again, we got Richie Bustillo in from San Antonio performing live tonight at Broadway 830. If you're local to Uvalde, you've got time to get here. 100 East Main Street, beautiful downtown Uvalde. It is Cinco de Mayo, $4 margaritas, all kinds of cervezas inside, tons of pizza, and great live Texas music out on the patio from 7 to 10 p.m. So Richie's got his guitar here.
Oh, yeah.
Richie Bustillo is flying guitar. And go ahead and give us what are you going to do for us, sir?
This song is called What You're Doing. It was another one of those songs. It's actually a love song. I had written it for this girl that I was kind of hanging out and talking to, and you know, things kind of just fall apart after a while, but unless it's good. But
it's a girl. Oh, we're just hanging out.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
I know what that means.
But it was one of those things. I was like, I really liked the girl at one point, and I was like, man, I need to express this in some sort of way. I wrote this. It was supposed to be a poem, and I just turned it into a song.
All right, give it up. Richie Bustillo live at Broadway 830 and UvaldeRadio.net.
I locked eyes with you at midnight, not hearing a single word you said. The blood rushing to my brain, I thought it'd be the end. Your lips were like an angel, speaking tongues I cannot comprehend. Please decipher things from my twisted mind I cannot understand. Well, this reading game won't be easy. telephone. One quick ring and I'll take off. No matter how I get there, it's where I'll be. We can make this last forever, just you and I together. This love will have to be a mystery. So now before you leave, just think twice before you set me free. 'Cause you know what you're doing to me. I watch dancing beams of moonlight reflect upon your skin. Couldn't tell if this was just a dream or was it too much gin. I can't hide this way I'm feeling. I'm ready to break this heart again. When you hold me tightly, darling, is it too hard to understand? Oh, tonight, don't forget this moment. It'll be our history. If you call me up on the telephone, one quick ring and I'll take off. No matter how I get there, it's where I'll be. We can make this last forever, just you and I together. This love won't have to be a mystery. So now before you leave, just think twice before you set me free. 'Cause you know what you're doing to me. We can make this last forever, just you and I together. This love won't have to be a mystery. So now before you leave, just think twice before you set me free. 'Cause you know what you're doing before you leave. Set me free. So now before you leave.
Hey, all right.
Thank you.
Richie Bustillo live here at Broadway 830 Friday Night Live
Thank you.
on Uvalde Radio.net. That was awesome, man.
Thank you, Robert.
Dude, your voice, you got such a great voice, dude.
Thank you so much.
I mean, so you got to tell me, like, what are the influences vocally? Now, guitar playing, real good too, man. I mean, you got a real good, clean, melodic, clear sound. And actually, you know, we said this when you sat down to talk on the radio. You know, you can tell a lot about how a guy's going to perform musically by the way they speak. And you got a lot of mid-range in your voice that gets pops through, you know?
Yes.
Sometimes if you got two, like, lows and highs, then there's kind of a big hole in the center, you know, and you don't have that full voice, but you have an effortlessly full voice, man.
Thank you.
Fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Really impressive. So let's talk about your vocal style. I mean, who would you say, if you had to pick influences, who would that be?
You know what? Growing up, like, you know, going back to that, where it was nothing but what my grandpa showed me. My grandpa raised me while my mom and dad were going to work, you know, and shout out to my mom and dad for always bringing food to the table and making it work, you know. And but being with my grandpa, it was just one of those things. He's just showing me his music, and that's all I listened to. So it was always doo-wops and oldies and soul and Motown, and you know. So growing up with that, that's why a lot of people, they tend to say, "Oh, you do have a soulful voice," and I was like, "Thank you," but you know, it was a lot having to do with what I listened to growing up. So you can just kind of put everything that's in the spectrum of the '50s doo-wop and rockabilly and everything rock and roll related in the '50s and into the early '60s and stuff. It was all a heavy influence in what I had going on and what I learned. That's how I learned how to sing. I knew nothing but that, and just transferring over to the country stuff, and I guess just more of the songwriting and style that I was kind of going for whenever I started doing the country music stuff, if it wasn't for Midland. So, you know, the song didn't really sound like anything Midland would do. I was actually kind of more along the lines of something that at the time I was listening to a lot of Luke Combs. So, you know, singer-songwriter stuff here and there. But if it really wasn't for Midland back in 2016, whenever they started releasing their singles, I probably wouldn't be doing country music today.
So that was kind of one of the impetuses to get you kind of back in it, and
It was that point to get me back into it. The only reason why is just I hadn't listened to country music since my uncle passed away in 2007.
wow.
So it took 9 years for me to finally be able to listen to it. And, you know, I wasn't really too much of a big fan into the late 2000s country because I was listening to a lot of the late 90s, early 2000s. And the most I kind of got into pop country was like maybe Shania Twain and Rascal Flatts and stuff like that, you know? So having to do with that, and a lot of people kind of had me correlated with Gary from Rascal Flatts. They say, "Oh, you have that kind of vocal play going on with that."
I can hear that. Yeah,
I was like, "Okay, well, thanks," you know. But it has a lot to do with what I listened to growing up, and it was the majority of that was like soul and Motown.
So what was it specifically about Midland that resonated with you and kind of brought you back into the country fold?
That very good question. That's the main reason why is them. It was the sound. You could still play. You can make new music that sounds like the old stuff,
classic,
and it can be good.
Yeah.
And it can be good. And it was just more of a major influence.
It is interesting when an artist can do that, when they can bring a fresh, new look and sound, and it's obvious that they're new and they're the new thing, but they tip their hat to the classics, and it's just got a classy vibe where you know that your abuelito's gonna like them too. You know,
absolutely.
Very cool. That's an interesting, just an interesting story that, for me the interesting thing is because when I think Midland, I'm older than you. They're still a baby band, in my opinion. You know what I mean? They've been around for 7-8 years, right? So, in the grand scheme of things, that's not that long. But to know that they're already influencing artists is pretty fantastic. You know, it's crazy. So again, we got Richie Bustillo here. Friday Night Live is going to go on at 7 o'clock here in the patio. It's a little warm. We're going to turn on the Big Ass Fan in a minute and celebrate Cinco de Mayo here very soon. $4 margaritas and delicious pizza, a lot of cold craft beer. So come out, bring the friends and family. Let's go ahead and talk about your new single. It's called Two Hearts, One Moon. It's currently in rotation on UvaldeRadio.net.
Yes,
and we appreciate you guys sharing it. Shout out to Cynthia for getting that to us. And she does a great job for you behind the scenes.
She
know
does.
because I get her emails and her calls.
Oh, yeah. She's always on it. And that's why I give her props for it. She really helps me out with that. And it's always a daily thing. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And she helps me out a lot.
So Booze was written because of an ex and a bad drinking night. What about Two Hearts, One Moon? Seems like a little bit more of a lighter subject, a little happier, right?
Yeah. So that's the thing, and I didn't write this song. This was actually given to me by a friend of mine. His name is Vic Quinton, and I've known Vic Quinton going on 3-4 years now, and he's a good friend of mine. And he actually, had been holding it close, dear to his heart for the longest time, and I believe it was since 90 or 91, because he had written it with the late great Del McBride, which is Terry McBride's dad. And Del, as far as I know, passed away in 91. And he just held on to that song for dear life, and Vic didn't want to give it to anybody, and I think he had maybe tried to cut it a few times, and it was just one of those things. He goes, "No, you know what, I don't want to do it. No, never mind, maybe we shouldn't." And I was very fortunate enough for him to be able to say, "Hey, why don't you sing this song that I've had locked away for a long time?"
So, I mean, first of all,
great honor.
That's a high honor, but man, that's a lot of pressure too, right?
It
was. That's some.
It still is.
That's some legendary, musicians, there. So,
yes.
What was that like? First of all, I don't know what the original maybe demo or music looked like, but obviously you have to put your own spin on this thing. So you've got to take the source material, do your own thing and do it respectfully. Of course, you got to go in the studio, make it your own. I would imagine you have to tread lightly there, and then of course, take as much input as you can from those who brought it to you. What was that whole experience like, finding how it's going to sound?
It was actually very easy, thanks to Vic, because he goes, "I'm not going to show you the original cuts.
Okay.
I'm going to have you listen to the music and hear the lyrics and do your thing."
Just do your own thing on it, man. And what was his his response? Everything good?
It was very good. He was like, "I'm glad I let you sing it." So and that's why I always give him praise and I always give him thanks, because he trusted me a lot. It was just one of those things that he just held on to for a long time, and he really did trust me, and that's how we have a good relationship, and I thank him for that. For being able to trust me so much. And at the time, I was listening to a lot of Brooks and Dunn, and I was listening to just a lot of the classic country. So it was so easy to just be able to sing it just my own way, you know. It has that feel, you know, because they had written it back in the early 90s.
Getting back to exactly what we were just talking about with Midland and the influence you had on you, that's exactly what this song sounds like. It sounds like something that's kind of captured in time and space, you know, where it was kind of a snapshot of a time, and you did it justice by giving it that, you know, a fresh new sound, but it's still got that classic kind of, it sounds like it could have been released back in the 90s.
Well, thank you for that. I feel like I didn't good enough, you know, and to be able to at least keep the pride in the name, you know, the names that are involved behind the song, and then of course the feeling and the message of the song, you know, because it is a love song, and I just can't. It's just so it is an overwhelming feeling. I'm just so full of thanks, and you know, for especially like you and others that have given it a shot and that are enjoying it.
Now it does have kind of a romantic kind of vibe to it. Now I got to ask this for the ladies out there listening.
That's a warning.
Are you taken? Does this song resonate with you personally and a relationship you're in, or is that something we're not even going to get into right now?
No, I'm not taken. I'm not taken. I'm open right now, but that's just the thing. It's just you always got to sing it like you mean it.
Sure.
And you know, I sing it to all the ladies out there. So
there
that's for all of y'all.
There you go. You got that Latin lover in there for somewhere, right? For sure. But you can always kind of harken back to maybe a past relationship or something like that. Yeah.
The feelings never go away. You know. So even if it was a relationship that went, you just love to learn more and more, and that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is you always just got to have that love. You always got to project that love, and it doesn't even have to be the romantic relationship. It could be towards others, you know, to show that love. But you know, going back to the song, it's just you have to sing it with that passion, with that love, and I think that's what I love so much about it is I can kind of picture myself as like, man, I am gonna be in that situation one day, you know, and you know. It's just one of those songs you can relate to, especially the men and women that are traveling all the time and they never get to be with their loved ones. You know, that's what that song's about. It's about being apart, but you find love in what means the most to you.
Well, we're gonna get it on the air again. We got Richie Bustillo here. The song is called Two Hearts, One Moon. We're gonna play it, come back, we'll talk to you about the recording process if that's okay.
Yeah,
and then we'll wrap it up here and get a live show around 7 o'clock here at Broadway 3. One more time, Richie Bustillo, Two Hearts, One Moon, Friday Night Live. This is UvaldeRadio.net.
I'm in Denver, you're in San Antonio. I knew you'd remember to be waiting by the phone. But this time, instead of talking, let's try a new point of view. When you look out the window, is the moon shining on you? Yes, I miss you. I've been gone too long, and just to kiss you, I could crawl through this phone. But we know that can't happen, so the moon will just have to do. Looking out this window, the moon takes me to you. I can see you standing there. Tell me what you're going to wear, so I can see you in my mind. Two hearts, one moon. I know the Colorado moon shines on you in Texas too. It's really not that far from two hearts, one moon. To have this moment, I'm all alone with you. Brings back all the memories out that window. Two hearts, one moon. I can see you standing there. Tell me what you're going to wear, so I can see you in my mind. Two hearts, one moon. I know the Colorado moon shines on you in Texas too. It's really not that far for two hearts, one moon. It's really not that far for two hearts, one moon.
UvaldeRadio.net, Friday Night Live. That is Richie Bustillo, Two Hearts, One Moon, flying up the charts. I know you got those chart stats, right? Go and brag, because it's doing real good, man. It's good.
It's doing fairly well. You know, 36 on the Texas Internet Radio chart.
Right, nice. Mark Sebier, what's up?
Yeah, 86 on the C3R. I was at, 111 last week or something, 115.
That's a nice big jump,
It jumped. That was the one I was like, man, I probably won't get on it, but, thanks to
that's
Cynthia,
the monster chart.
it worked.
Good job saying it. And Dave, that's the tough one, yeah. So.
Yeah. And then 88 on TCMA.
Very
so
cool,
man. Not doing too bad.
Not doing too bad at all,
It's on those charts, and then it's on yours, so thank you.
Yeah, I think you're like top 5 or 7 or 8, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Top
somewhere
10
in
for
there.
sure.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So, yeah, great song again, Two Hearts, One Moon. Richie Bustillo. Let's go ahead and talk about the recording process.
Yeah.
Did you get hired guns in the studio? You got any guys that you roll with that are recorded on that thing? How did you put that together, give it life?
When it comes down to the whole recording, it's still kind of unknown to me. It could have been one of the original recordings from the 90s, and it could have been just a faithful re-recording that maybe some of the guys at the studio I go record at the Woodshed Studios, Woodshed Recording Studios in Granger, Texas. And it could have been just my buddies there, and those are the ones that kind of have been helping me record my stuff lately. But when it came down to the whole recording of the original, I really don't know. It could have been either or. But I did start tracking vocals back in November, and we did that pretty quickly. And I was very fortunate enough to be able to get Drew Womack to be able to sing my background vocals. So that was a little bit closer towards the release time before we got it released. But yeah, I was very fortunate enough to be able to get Drew Womack. Drew Womack actually sang the harmonies on all my songs so far.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, so shout out to Drew Womack.
So
he's the singer of Lone Star now.
So this one sounds great. So what's the plan for future releases as far as writing and recording?
Sure.
Is it your intention to be the primary songwriter? Are you comfortable using other people's material? If there is a game plan, I guess, a 5-year plan or whatever, what would that be?
I have plenty of songs written, and I'm still writing a lot more, and I am completely available to just getting co-written stuff down, doing the co-writing thing. Even some people that think, I think you'd be suited to sing my song. I wouldn't mind that either. And my only worry is just making sure that it's going to be suitable for them, that they would enjoy it, that I would be able to do it justice. I think that's my only worry. But other than that, I'm very open to doing the co-writing thing. And, I'm actually writing a few songs with a couple of my friends already. So, I think for the future is slowly but surely just kind of letting my songs release, one by one. And I do have an album coming out next year sometime because I'm pretty much almost done with it. I just had to finish up some more tracking.
Cool.
But, slowly, it is a slow race for me right now. I'm just trying to get my name out there. I'm trying to do more shows, just trying to get more exposure, and doing stuff like this really helps me, so thank you.
Thank you for being here, man. So getting back to the shows, now tonight you're playing a solo acoustic, all on your own, doing your thing, which is fantastic. But you do have like a band, right, too?
I do.
So let's go and talk about the band real quick and what that live full band experience is like.
The full band, it is a 5-piece band. I have a few drummers helping me out, so they aren't for sure drummers, but they're good friends of mine that help me out. And one of them actually is in a Selena cover band, so he's mainly touring with them. So he helps me out a lot. His name is Mike Aguilar, and I have a couple other friends that kind of rotate and help. So first off, it was just the drummer and my bass player and my guitar player. They've been playing with me probably within the last 8 months, and they've been helping me out very, very, very religiously, and I thank them. And they play with about 3 or 4 other bands, but I'm kind of grateful to say that they're one of those that are like, oh, you got a show this day, let me get somebody to cover for me so I can go play with you instead.
Right.
So
they're giving you priority.
They do.
That's good.
And I appreciate them for that. So them too. I've known the steel guitar player for about 4 or 5 years now, and same thing with my bass player.
And steel players are hard to find or come to know that I mean, they're picky too. Like, they don't want to play with some Yahoo, right? They want to play with some guy that's going to make them look good.
That's one of the things I'm very grateful for as well. Is Randy Gilliam is the steel guitar player.
Is he an old
from
white
San
guy?
Antonio. Yes, he's
They're
awesome.
always old white guys.
But he's awesome, and it was one of those things. A couple years ago, he had to get hand surgery, and he was out for about a month, and then he came back stronger. And he goes, "No, I'm going to do more shows. I'm going to play for you, and whenever you have a show, you got to tell me." And so shout out to Randy, and
that's awesome.
Randy and Rudy Lopez is my bass player, and I've known him for a few years now. But we kind of started our own band about 3 years ago, and slowly evolved into a country band. So it's been cool. But Rudy and Randy actually won Best Steel Guitar Player and Best Bassist in San Antonio for the San Antonio Rock and Country Awards.
Okay, cool.
So so they, shout out to them, and they've been doing good.
I saw a lot of information going on Facebook about those awards. I'm going to try to get Uvalde Radio out there next year. So that'll be really cool to be a part of that.
There's plenty of opportunity for that.
So let's talk about the bands, because again, you've got your solo acoustic tonight, and then you got the full band experience. Give me an A/B. Give me the compare and contrast of what those two experiences are like.
Okay, it's very, I guess, more of an intimate thing whenever I do the acoustic thing, and I tend to talk to the crowd, and if they want a request, I'll do a request, and I try to do a little bit more storytelling whenever I do acoustic stuff. And whenever we do the full live band thing, it's nothing but dancing music and getting people out there on the floor and getting people involved and screaming and taking shots and having a fun time. It's all about fun time with the band. And
nice.
So it just depends on the experience that people are looking for. They want a chill, relax night, come see me in an acoustic night. If you want to party down and have fun with your family and friends, then come see us in the full band.
Well, we're going to a little bit of both tonight. So coming out here tonight at Broadway 830, 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. If you're still listening locally here in town, you got plenty of time to get on down here and see some live music with Richie Bustillo. Richie, you got what cool upcoming shows you got coming up in the future you want to plug real quick?
Yeah, I do have a few shows. It's mainly going to be acoustic stuff this week, this month actually. For tomorrow, I'm down in south side of San Antonio at La Esquina Food Park, and I travel up every Friday. Weather, it's all weather permitting, but every Friday morning at 11 a.m. I start in Burnet, Texas.
Oh, cool.
So, I don't know how far people are listening, but if you're around the Austin area, I play in Burnet, Texas every Friday, weather permitting. On the 12th, I open up for my buddy JR Herrera at Long Branch. So, that's more of the fun stuff we're kind of doing right now, just playing, hanging out with my friends and doing that kind of stuff. And on the 19th, I'm the only full band gig with the original guys. The original band that I have right now is we're going to be playing on the St. Mary's Strip in downtown San Antonio at Hondros. And then on the 20th, we're playing in Jourdanton. So some friends of mine, we kind of put like a little super group together, and we're going to be jamming out at the Founders Day, 1909 Founders Day on the 20th. But I guess those are the main ones, and the majority of the rest of the gigs are downtown San Antonio or just in San Antonio area.
Well, very good. Man, when out, you got the calendar. I'm sure it's on your website. Give us that website one more time.
Yeah, it's mainly on Facebook. If you look me up under Richie Bustillo Music, you could also look me up under the tag The Richie B Official. I spell my name Richie. It's Richie without a T. But if you look me up under the Richie B Official, I think even if you pull it up on Google, it should pull up my Linktree and Facebook and Instagram. It's all on there. But I have my schedule posted already. I've just posted it yesterday, so people can kind of take a look at it now and see where I'll be playing next.
So if you can't make it out tonight, go check the calendar and see where he's playing next. And before we wrap it up, got to mention this. We had a really great time seeing you jump up there with Kinfo at the Texas Regional Radio Music Awards after party. Let's go and talk. You guys have a really cool kinship with the band, and let's just talk about the friends you're making in the business, because it seems like you're coming real fast, coming in hard.
It's very surreal. We're all a big great community. We all help each other out. So opening up for Kinfo in October this past year, and that was my first opportunity.
And they speak very highly of you. They've been talking about you for a while. Yeah.
Well, thanks to the guys. They're good friends of mine now, and I asked them certain things for guidance and what they do, and we're very, very good friends, and they always help me out by doing stuff like that, and that's where I say thank y'all, to the guys for just giving me opportunity to let people actually being able to put a face to the name, especially for me. And there was a lot of times like that, especially at Texas Regional Radio when we went for the meeting and everything and the awards. There was a lot of people, I've seen your name on the chart, I've heard you, and I've heard your song.
Right.
And, it's kind of cool to be able to see that, and it's just a huge, big networking thing, and that's what I love so much about it. We're all supporting each other, and we all have the same goal. So that's what I really love, especially about the guys from Kinfo, and they're great people, great band, and couldn't ask for better friends.
Well, shout out to the guys in Kinfo who actually have the #1 song on UvaldeRadio.net right now. And we're going to try to get them to #1 on the other charts as well, too. I think it's going to be wrapping it up here, I guess, with Mr. Richie Bustillo. First time in Uvalde. We're honored to have you here tonight, sir. Thank you so much for making the trip and bringing some family, too.
Oh, yes.
Shout out Cynthia right there. What's up, Cynthia?
Yeah.
All right. And my name is Robert Miguel. We're going to do some live music here at Broadway 830. So y'all come out and join us. Mr. Richie Bustillo, one more time.
Thank you, Robert.
We now resume regular programming on UvaldeRadio.net.